Hey, are you a 20-something going to school and trying to balance school and caregiving for a loved one and everything else that goes on in your life? If so, you're in the right place. I'm Pamela D Wilson. I help caregivers and aging adults. My website has a lot of information on it, PamelaDWilson.com. Also, press the like button, follow, and share these videos with me on YouTube. So if you're a caregiver in your 20s trying to care for a grandparent or an aging parent who has a serious illness or just a lot of things going on, this balancing act of trying to get an education, get a degree, care for a loved one, do everything else I need to do, like in life, have some sort of a social life and maintain some friends, it can be a really hard thing to do. I was a caregiver at an early age for my parents. In fact, my mom was probably not real healthy from the time I was in my late teens all the way into my 20s, and she passed away when I was 35. So I'm going to share some practical things that I did when I was a caregiver for my family, and then also I've been a professional caregiver for more than 20 years, helping families and caregivers and aging adults with all kinds of health issues, whether it's getting help in the home, nursing home care, hospitalizations, medical care, legal care, how to pay for caregiving, all of those things. Information about that is on my website, and it's in these videos, over 800, that I share here on YouTube. So let's talk about my family just for a second. So my mom was sick with mostly heart disease, and in and out of hospitals all the time, in and out of doctor's offices. My uncle had Alzheimer's disease, but back then we didn't know it was Alzheimer's disease. We just called him senile. I watched my aunts and uncles and family members suffer from strokes and so many health issues, and this was all as a young child. So it was kind of a wake-up call to me to say, wow, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to die that early. So I took a very strong interest in health and prevention, and I started going to the gym when I was like in my early 20s, and I still do that today. But so as all of this was happening in my early 20s, I worked full-time. I had my own place to live, so I had rent to pay. I was going to college at night. I took 3 classes a week, so maybe 2 classes during the week and then 1 on Saturday morning. Now, admittedly, I was not a 24/7 caregiver, so I wasn't living with my parents taking care of them. My dad took care of my mom, and fortunately, I had a sister who helped out too. But I was usually the one who would get the call on Sunday night to say, hey, I need to go to the emergency room. Can you take me? And I always made time to go over to see my parents on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, to do whatever it was they needed, whether it was grocery store or help with something around the house or whatever. And of course, back then, I was just helping out like most of you, right? You don't call yourself a caregiver until somebody else does. So I would do that, and I had a very full schedule. So with all of that going on, like working from 8 to 5, going home to eat, going to class from 6 to 9 o'clock at night, having to create time to do homework, get my papers done, make time to spend with friends, clean my house, wash my clothes, make food, all of that kind of stuff. Back then I had a paper calendar, like a book that I carried around. And today you might do that on your phone or somewhere else. But my first recommendation is schedule your time. I had my time scheduled down honestly to the hour. And I was very regimented about, okay, I got to be done with this because I got to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I actually planned my time 1 to 4 weeks out, and I still do that today. Sometimes I plan further ahead if I have things going on. I scheduled nights to clean the house, to do my laundry, to go to the grocery store, to make food for the whole week, so I didn't have to do that every day. I just could like take my lunch to work, and I knew what I was going to eat when I ran home to go home before I went to school at night. I made sure that I was in bed by 10 o'clock every night because I needed to get so much sleep. Now, while it's true that younger people don't need as much sleep, what happens is if you're on this tight of a schedule where you've got to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning, which I did, to get ready to go to work and to plan my day and maybe do a little bit of studying before I went to school, there's not a lot of flux in your sleep time, right? It's 10 o'clock to 5 a.m. It's not like 10 o'clock and I can sleep in until 9 or 10. That doesn't happen. So it's easy to get exhausted as a caregiver or just as a really busy person trying to juggle everything. And then you got to make time for yourself. So schedule time to call a friend, schedule time to go out with your friends on Saturday night or whatever. Schedule time for you. Getting back to the school thing, if you have counselors or advisors at school that you can talk to about the pressures you are experiencing as a caregiver, they may be able to help you. My mother died when I was in the middle of one of my master's degrees courses, and I had to talk to my professor and say, I know I have a paper due next week, but I've got to go back for my mom's funeral. Can I delay getting the paper done? And they worked with me. So don't be afraid to tell the academic people or the counselors at your school about your caregiving activities. Your friends and your peers, they may not get it because they don't understand. Non-caregivers don't understand what caregivers go through, so they may not be very sympathetic or empathetic to your situation. But talk to your counselors, talk to people at school. They may have advice, they may have help for you. Never be embarrassed as a young caregiver to ask for help or to admit that you don't know anything. And I know a lot of you spend time on the internet searching for things. Make sure that the information you're finding is reliable, it's from a trusted source. My website, PamelaDWilson.com, I've been doing this for over 20 years. There's not many questions that caregivers ask that I cannot answer because I have personally experienced it. I've personally done the things that you're going to find yourself doing. Join an online support group or an in-person support group. My online support group is called the Caregiving Trap. It's on Facebook. There's a lot of people in there who are all ages and who have a lot of valuable experience that if you ask the question, they are happy to share it with you. Caregivers help caregivers. And caregivers of all ages are under a lot of emotional stress because of all of this worry, and people are putting demands on you, whether it's in your workplace or you got demands at school or your parents expect you to be able to do all these things. You have to find ways to relieve stress. Now, mine was always activity. I would go to the gym, and I still do that today. So on the nights that I wasn't taking classes during the week, that was my gym night. So school may have been Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings. Well, Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, I was at the gym working out. And if I had friends, because I enjoyed being active, we were doing active things. We were going hiking or camping or swimming or boating or whatever, right? We were always doing something fun. The biggest thing as a caregiver, regardless of your age, is to realize that you cannot do it all. Many caregivers try and they become sicker than the people that they care for. And some caregivers willingly stop going to school, or they give up their job, they give up years of income and retirement savings to care for a parent because they feel like this is their duty and their responsibility. And if that's the way that you feel, do that. There's no right or wrong. But what you have to realize is there's long-term consequences to the choices that you make, even in your early 20s. If you don't take care of your health, you may be unhealthy in your 50s or 60s. If you don't go to college, you're giving up a lot of opportunities. If you give up a job, you're giving up income. How are you going to pay for your retirement and pay for your health care when you're older? Your parents may not have been educated enough to know all of the things that they should have done or could have done to be healthy and to not need the care that they need. You're in a whole different position. You have an opportunity to learn and to become educated and to prevent a lot of these health issues that really don't have to happen if you know what to do. So become educated, investigate community resources, avenues of support for yourself. Talk to the doctors who are caring for your parents. Learn about their health conditions. If money is a problem, contact state Medicaid or long-term care to find out if there are ways to have care for your parents that involve other caregivers coming in, or maybe your parents going to live to a care community. A lot of options. The biggest thing as a caregiver is have an exit plan. If you're young and in your 20s, you deserve to go live your life. You deserve to finish that college degree, to get a job, have a career, get married, have children. Do whatever you want to do. You deserve to live your dreams because your parents had that opportunity, right? Don't allow caregiving to take away the opportunities that you have in life. You are the only one that can make those choices. So if you're in school, whatever you do, finish your courses, get that degree. Education is the one thing that balances out all of this inequity in life. You hear a lot about health inequity and inequitable care, and these people get that and these people get that. Well, education is the leveler. The more educated you become, the more knowledge you have, the more experience you have, the more job opportunities you have, the more you can help other people. I have a lot of education. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. I have a certificate in dementia care. I'm a certified senior advisor. I'm a certified guardian. I love education. I love research. But because of all this, I built a career over 20 years where I help caregivers today. And I have a lot to share. I have a lot to give back. So never place your education on the back burner for something else that comes up in your life. Fight to do everything you can to finish school. And if for some reason you have to stop, make sure that you go back. Make sure that you start again. It doesn't matter if you want to go to college and you didn't and you're 30 years old or 40 years old or 50 years old. Go back and get that degree. And if you're young, stay in school. Find a way to do it, even though you're caring for other people. I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website's PamelaDWilson.com. Go over there and check out all the education. It's all there for you. Thanks for being here again. Please share this video with other people that you know who are looking for hope, help, and support. I will see you all again soon in another video.